that.
Okay, I got you. So you believe in the first miracle, though, right? The Big Bang? You believe in the Big Bang? So why don't you believe in anything else happened? If that big miracle happened, then why can't you believe in anything else? Amen.
Well,
Cooked. Cooked!
I'm just wondering
God bless, bro.
what like a sufficient proof would be. Like first time I want to characterize that.
Like, what would be like conclusive evidence that Jesus Christ did exist, or did he be God? Or both? You think Jesus Christ existed?
I think there's a good amount of evidence that's just Jesus Christ.
99% of scholars believe that he existed aimlessly.
I would doubt that statistic, but
Really?
I think there is like a good amount of evidence.
All right, can I give you the evidence of Jesus Christ's existence and his like evidence of it?
Okay.
So-
I mean, I'm aware of like, a lot of the evidence I've taken in class.
Awesome.
Studies.
Awesome. So you know the Greek manuscripts dated back to the 2nd century, the secondhand eyewitnesses.
Sure, there's a good amount of evidence that he did exist.
There's a lot
I mean,
compared to Alexander the Great, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of evidence. I can't doubt that.
So what do you disagree with then?
Well, I mean, I disagree that it's plausible that Jesus like went ahead and did miracles. I think it's not plausible to believe that.
Okay, I got you. So you believe in the first miracle, though, right? The Big Bang. You believe in the Big Bang. So why don't you believe in anything else happened? If that big miracle happened, then why can't you believe in anything else? Amen.
Well,
Cooked. Cooked. Yeah, cooked, bro. Like literally, like that's the biggest miracle ever. From a little speck of atom to what we are now, with all rational thinking minds.
well,
Come on,
first
bro.
of all,
Why don't you believe in Jesus Christ then, man?
okay, I think that's a very like.
Very good argument.
No, that's a terrible argument because like you're like
It's true.
supposing that like that the Big Bang has like no scientific like basis behind it, and it absolutely does. Like
Really?
right.
What's the evidence then?
The evidence the Big Bang like occurred, or do you want evidence, or do you want like a line of reasoning?
Yeah, that happened 14 billion years ago.
Like why the Big Bang happened?
How did it happen 14 billion years ago?
Like how did it happen, or like what caused it? Which question do you want?
Either one.
Okay, I'm not the best person to give like a crash course in like.
Yeah, I mean you can look it up, dude. You came from a little microbe to what we have now. It doesn't make any sense.
Because I've done like I've done research on high energy astrophysics. Like that's on my resume.
That's
So
awesome.
I can like attempt to explain to you what happened.
All I'm saying is that is a bigger leap of faith than Jesus Christ.
That's absolutely
That's
not
all
a
I'm
bigger
saying.
leap of faith because we have like precise causal evidence that would suggest that happened. Like essentially, if you like examine like the microwaves that are sort of scattered throughout the universe, there's like a clear like causal pattern
Yes.
between it. That's like explained
I got
very
you.
well by the
So
by the
okay,
Big
so
Bang.
who created the Big Bang then?
Like who created the Big Bang? Okay, I don't think anyone created the Big Bang. There wasn't any creation.
Okay, there has to be a cause and effect though. If I throw a football, there's a cause and effect. There has to be a
Okay,
cause and
I-
effect of what created the Big Bang, right?
Okay, so now we're like so now we're going into like philosophy, right?
Okay.
Before
I know, but it's really not that complicated, man. It's like a blank space, and then all of a sudden the world came about. Like, come on, bro.
That's not a great characterization
Something
of the Big Bang.
either something created that or that didn't happen.
Okay, that's not a great characterization of the Big Bang.
That's what it claims, though. That's literally what it claims.
That's not what it claims.
Nobody has any idea.
claims.
They don't even have a slither of evidence of how the Big Bang occurred. No one has any idea.
Well, we hypothesized that what happened here was that like there's like this sort of like particles that cause like physical reality to sort of like manifest itself, like what causes like atoms to bind themselves, sort of like originated in this like very like high energy sort of like strata, and then this would sort of like it is consistent with the current understanding of physics that like this process occurred where like the universe was sort of like
Yeah,
manifested.
I get it, man. It's just So what do you disagree with then? So you're atheist, I take it?
Yeah.
So what do you disagree that God cannot exist? Like, why can't it be that God exists?
I mean, like epistemically, I don't think that it's like philosophically impossible that God exists. I think most rational people should not believe that God exists because there's very little evidence that like the Christian God especially ought to exist. I used to be a Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about God now. It's just becoming theist and atheist, right? So, so your life has no purpose.
You asked me to prove that Jesus is not God. You didn't ask me to prove that there exists no God. Like
I know, but you're atheist, bro. So I'm trying to talk to you about that. So basically, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So you basically have no purpose for your life, right? Because you're atheist, right? So you're just born for no reason and you're gonna die for no reason. So what's the point of your life?
I think like philosophically, that's not a great characterization. I think think first of all, I think there's
every
like
atheist scholar believes that. So do you believe that there's a?
I think that's a horrible like characterization of atheism. I don't think like most atheists take that line of belief. That like,
yeah, it's faith, belief, right? You just said it.
No.
Atheist is putting your faith and belief that there is no God.
Like listen, you're not winning an argument just because like you just because like you take like the sort of like bare minimum understanding of what I just said and like turn it into a gimme. What I'm attempting to say is that like you can like assemble some kind of meaning in your life without some like divine power telling you to do so. For example, I'm a math major. I'm interested in math, and like I find genuine joy in studying math. So I think one of the great purposes of my life right now is to continue that study and to discover.
Yeah, okay, I got you. So that's your purpose, right? Is to study math.
Well,
so
that's one of the things.
Okay,
that motivates
all right. I got a question then. What's the evidence that you're living for, and what's the evidence that it is true?
What do you mean?
So what are you living for, and what's the evidence that you're living for is true?
Okay, so what am I living for?
Yeah, what are you living for, and what's the evidence of what you're living for, and why is that true and reliable?
Evidence of what I'm living for.
Yes, and why is that reliable and true, rather than Jesus Christ?
Okay, first of all, that would suggest that what I'm living for, quote unquote, is like this object that like requires evidence.
You're living for yourself if you're living for your math major then, right? So what's the evidence? What's the evidence of yourself that is reliable and true, other than Jesus Christ?
What is the evidence that I exist? Is that what you're asking me?
No, what you're living for, what your meaning is, what your purpose is.
My purpose is?
Yes.
Like,
if you're living for yourself, then what's the evidence that is reliable, more reliable than Jesus Christ?
that like. Well, what do you mean it's more reliable? Like, I don't think my purpose is this thing that. I think my purpose is this thing that I.
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't have nearly much evidence of Jesus Christ, right?
What? I don't understand like the basis of that question.
I got you. So basically, I'm saying that there's a ton of evidence that Jesus Christ exists, rather than your existence and what you're living for is true.
I think there's plenty of evidence of my existence.
Yeah, I know.
The fact that I'm standing here.
I know there's more evidence of Jesus Christ than you think for yourself. Right?
I think there's much more evidence that I exist than Jesus Christ exists.
Okay, then what's the meaning of someone else's life? If you're atheist, then it's just survival, right?
What is like the meaning of my life?
Of anybody's life. There's no meaning of anybody's life.
The purpose of my life is to go ahead and like do the things that bring me joy.
I got you. I got you. So what if my purpose as an atheist, right? If I was an atheist, to go out and bomb hospitals? You think that's good? Do you think that's good?
I don't think that's a good thing, right?
Okay.
For you to do, but
so there's a moral absolute then. Because
that's
everybody.
It's a philosophical question.
Yeah.
Because I think there is like a way to justify a moral absolute, but the question you asked me like is there a moral absolute or not? The question you asked me is Jesus Christ God? Right.
Yeah.
And like,
so you do think there's a moral absolute?
Like the way I'm going to attack this question.
It starts with God.
No. It doesn't start with God. It starts with Jesus. Because what I want to show is that like.
You have to believe there's a God first, man.
No. Because like what I want to show is that like, even if there were to be a God, there's no evidence that says that God is in fact a Christian God.
I just started it, man. Yeah, I do. What's it called? My name is just Corey Sparks.
There's no evidence that God is the Christian God. I think is the way I want to approach this question, because I think it's like a very different philosophical question as to whether there's a moral absolute or not, and whether the Christian God is in fact like the supreme
Yeah, I
God.
got you. I mean, if there's a moral absolute, then God exists, right? And
I don't think that line of reasoning follows.
yeah, yeah, it does. If everyone inherently always agrees that this is good and this is evil, then that's moral absolute. We're born with that.
First of all, people don't inherently agree.
They do.
You think, like,
Okay, the genocide in Israel, was that wrong?
What do you mean the genocide? Like when? Which one? Like
That just happened October 9th last year.
Okay, are you talking about October 7th?
Yeah.
Like I think it was. I think
You know it was
people
wrong, and everybody agrees that it was wrong. So that's moral absolute. That's an example for you.
Well, the thing is, like, there's plenty of moral things that people don't agree, like, in terms of absolutes. Like for example, like, in Saudi Arabia, there's statistics that 71% of people believe that, let's suppose, like, homosexuality is wrong, right? And in the West, people, like, have a tendency to believe that homosexuality is, like, acceptable in society, right?
Yeah.
So I think this, like, idea that, like, moral absolutism, like, carries across all values is clearly unrepresentative of where we are as humanity.
Yeah, I got you. But there's a clear good and evil, right? If I go feed a homeless person because he's in need, that's
Well,
good.
The thing is, like, people disagree with like what is good and what is evil often enough that, like, that like we can claim that there is no moral absolute, I think.
But I just gave two examples, and you said they're good and evil, and I would ask anybody that example, and they would say they're good and evil as well. So that's moral.
Like, I'm trying to think on the boundaries, on the fringes of belief. There's, like, plenty of things.
Okay, well, if you think there's good and evil, then you're theist. Then
I don't think that's true at all.
how is that not true?
Like even if I accept that there's, like, some absolute good, that doesn't justify the existence of God. Like, you have to explain why. Like, you have to explain to me why it does.
Because if you think there's a good and evil, then obviously there's someone who created that good and evil. Because if you're born atheist, then everything is just random. Everything's just a fairy floating in the wind. Nothing matters if you're atheist.
Okay, listen. I think there's, like, enough layers, like, in your mischaracterization and, like, sort of, like, delusion that, like, that there's really nothing I can say that'll, like, sort of, like, convince you to, like, attack this problem in, like, a philosophically rigorous way. So.
I'm, like, genuinely dying. I'm having, like, heart palpitations. My heart is skipping beats out here. It's too damn cold. I'm heading out, man. See you guys in the next one. Peace.